with Southern Cal coach John McKay.
Coach John McKay, how do you feel about being the favorite in this football game? Now, you've been most successful the last 9 years against Notre Dame. I think you failed only one time to come out on top. But how do you feel about being favorite?
Well, people decide who the favorites are. In this game, I don't think there's ever been a favorite. I know one year we were 13-point underdog and won by 20 points or something like that. One time we were favored and got beat badly. So I don't think the favorites in this game. This is the greatest intersectional rivalry of all time. It's a game that all our coaches, all of our players much appreciate getting an opportunity to play in. And whether we're the favorite or the underdog, we're going to play as best we can, and I think we will play an excellent football game. If that can give us the win, fine. If it doesn't, we will not be embarrassed.
Coach, you had to travel with a 48-man squad now, and I'd like your feelings about that ruling.
Well, I'm very much against the ruling because I think that the home team has always had an advantage in any sporting event. And when you give the visiting, the home team a 12-man bulge on you, that you have 48, they can use special team people that we cannot use, we do not have here. If we get an injury or two in any one position, in most positions we only brought 2 people, then the other guy has to stay in there and play the whole game, and I think that this is an unfair situation. But it is a rule that the NCAA has passed, the people have voted on it, and we will live with it.
John, you've accepted so many challenges before. When we talked before the All-Star game, and incidentally, again, let me say congratulations, because again with the All-Star squad in Chicago on August 1st, you turned out a fantastically well-prepared football team.
Well, I think we did a good job up there. We had very good players, Al, and of course Pittsburgh came in, I think, looking past us, and we felt we had an excellent chance to win it. And right up until the end, I thought we would win it. We didn't. And I think this team is a lot like our All-Star team. We have very good talent. It's very young talent. Most of these youngsters will be back for next year and the year after that. So we're just going to have to see what happens tomorrow.
Coach, as I started to say, you've accepted so many challenges in the past. You've always measured up to every one of them. We talked at the All-Star game about the possibility of a challenge in the future, even bigger football challenge, possibly pro football.
Well, my name has been mentioned. I think it's because it's a short name, and everybody mentions that I will do this and that. I haven't made any decision whatsoever. I have enjoyed my career at the university. I've been there 16 years. They've been very nice to me. They gave me the opportunity to start coaching as a head coach, and I have appreciated that. The administration, everybody there, the student body, everybody there has been very nice to me and my family, and I appreciate the University of Southern California. And beyond that, I have nothing to say.
David Reeve has the ball teed up. He's approaching it. Reeve is into the football. The game is underway. A high kickoff goes down to the 2. Danny Reeve takes it out to the 10. The 20 hurdles over the 20-yard line out to the 23. And big John Dubanevsky catches him in midair, throws him down. Bell is the deep back. Tutupu, a big 6-foot, 225-pounder from Hawaii, is the up back, the blocker. First back through. Here's a fumble. Ricky Bell recovers his own fumble at the 25. Ricky Bell missed the handoff from Vince Evans, and he fell on the ball just before outside linebacker Pete Johnson got to it.
A 5-man front. Notre Dame stacked a 5-man front up there. Jim Stockett called the 5-man front. Nose guard sitting right on top of center Mike Cordell. They're going to try to put the pressure on there by moving up Bob Golick right into that line. Now it appears they go to the 4.
Dennis Thurman comes out as a wingback to the left. And it is going to be 2nd down and 9. Here is Thurman in motion, very fast, sprinting out to the right. They go again to Bell. He runs off tackle and hit hard at the 27 and knocked down. Bob Golick, the freshman middle linebacker, and Luther Bradley, the All-American candidate as a sophomore cornerback, met Ricky Bell head on and really drilled him. That's going to bring up 3rd and 7 for Southern California as they go to Bell the first 2 times and don't get much. It is 3rd down and 7 for Southern California, their 27-yard line. Vince Evans, the quarterback, calls a long count. Niehaus ready to come. He's up over the nose of the center. Here's Evans dropping back to throw. Looking, the rush is on. He's going to run. They got him. Vince Evans is hit back at the 26-yard line. A loss of 2 yards, and the Trojans will have to punt. Notre Dame getting the big rush from Ross Browner, from Willie Fry, and Niehaus was the man who knocked him down.
Bradley, Niehaus, Browner. You see the tremendous rush they're putting on. California will have to punt.
Glenn Walker, an outstanding punter, is back at his 12-yard line. Single deep man for Notre Dame is Tim Simon. Walker takes the snap. A big rush. It is almost blocked. He gets it away. Simon signals for and makes the fair catch at the Notre Dame 43. Joe Montana is the quarterback as Notre Dame breaks the huddle, 1st and 10 at their 43-yard line. No score, first quarter. Jerome Havens in motion from a wing-back position goes McClain. First back through is Havens. He comes out across the 45 out to the 48. Dale Logie, a senior linebacker from Los Angeles, made the head-on hit for the men of Troy. There was a gain of 4 yards on the play at 2nd down and 6 Notre Dame. In the backfield with Montana, Jerome Havens. He is the fullback. McClain comes out as a wing-back to the right. Instead as a wing-back to the left is Al Hunter. The tight end, Ken McAfee. The wide receiver is Chris Haynes. He's a freshman. Here's a handoff to Hunter. Breaks across the 50. It's a foot race. Inside the 30. Inside the 20. Inside the 10. Touchdown, Notre Dame. Al Hunter breaks it. Notre Dame breaks it from scrimmage, 57 yards for a touchdown. And Hunter is being mobbed in the Notre Dame end zone as the Fighting Irish go up 6-0. Hunter on that wing-back play coming from left to right. Moving off right tackle behind the blocking of Hughes and Poland. It was a 52-yard run. And Al, we got a ball game early.
We've got a ball game early, and we've got a great block. Al Wojcik led that play. The key block was on linebacker Kevin Bruce. He laid the timber to him, and Bruce went down, and off went the runner.
Good. The extra point is up. It is no good. It is wide to the right. It was tipped. David Reeves' extra point attempt was tipped. It is wide to the right. And so now with the score, Notre Dame 6 and Southern California nothing. There's a timeout on the field, and this for Royal Globe Insurance. We are ready to go as Hunter went 52 yards from scrimmage. David Reeves, whose extra point attempt was tipped and wide. Now will kick off again. He approaches the ball, hits it deep. A high spinning kickoff. It'll go right out of the end zone on the fly. Not aided by wind. The flags were down when he hit that one. It went right out of the end zone. 10 at their 20-yard line. Vince Evans is the quarterback. Eyes set in the backfield. Wide receivers to either side. Again, they go to Bill. Niehaus hits him in the backfield for a loss. Back at the 16-yard line, Niehaus came right over Vince Cordell. Mike Cordell, the center for USC, threw him aside and drilled Ricky Bell. He's got minus yardage for the day.
Oh, talk about a fired-up football team, but the defense of the Irish is fired now. A touchdown in the first 2.5 minutes, and here comes Mr. Niehaus, blazing across, number 70, 6'6". He's 260 pounds, and this big man was in the backfield.
So now it'll be 2nd down and 13 for the Trojans as they lose 3 yards on the play. Here is Vince Evans again. He hands off to Bell, turning wide. He turns the corner, gets out across the 20. And is run out of bounds at about the 22-yard line. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 8. Randy Harrison starting at the free safety, number 10, ran him out along with Golick, the middle linebacker, with great lateral pursuit at 240 pounds. Niehaus was interviewed earlier this week by a writer from the New York Daily News, Dave Hershey. Hershey said, "What can you say about USC after that loss last year?" He said, "Well, I can tell you one thing briefly. We're going to beat them. USC, a great football team, and we're just beginning, but Notre Dame is in the lead 6-0, 11:42 to play in the first quarter. Trojans have the ball 3rd down and 8 at their 22. Vince Evans rolls out to the right. Here is oh man, he was drilled by Jeff Weston. See if Evans gets up from that. He's getting up slowly. Willie Fry caught him, and then Jeff Weston hit him like a tackling dummy, head high, and Vince Evans does well to bounce right up. There was no gain on the play. It brings up 4th down and 8, and the Trojans will punt for a 2nd time.
No chance to work the option then. All right, they're going to punt, Don, so here we go.
Notre Dame's defense really coming on early in the game. Here's Glenn Walker to punt for USC. Gets the snap. Hits it. End-over-end punt, not too deep. Fair catch is signaled for, and Nate is briefly fumbled and then caught at the 42-yard line by Lipinski, and a penalty marker goes down as Lipinski was hit after he signaled a fair catch. Now, what happened, he bobbled the ball, and he can't blame the USC players. They went in to make the hit, but he had possession after a fair catch, so after a 35-yard punt, Notre Dame will be beneficiaries of a 15-yard penalty against Southern California. Joe Montana, the sophomore, is at quarterback. Has not thrown a pass yet. Has not needed to. Notre Dame only needed 2 plays from scrimmage to go the distance. Here's a handoff. Evans over the middle. Hits out to the 45. He got 3. Straight up the middle. Gary Jeter, who's a great football player for Southern California, made the tackle. A player is down for USC. Very slow getting up. It looks to be one of their middle guard, Tim Raines. He's going back into the defensive huddle. Now the players are sending him off.
Moving out of the ball game, and a replacement's come in. That would be Harold Steele at the nose guard now.
Now to second down and the long 6 for Notre Dame. Misdirection, fumble, free football. Looks like USC has it at the Notre Dame 45. David Lewis falls on the ball as the Trojans get right back in it. Notre Dame trying to run a misdirection, a fake to the left, a handoff to the right. The connection was never made. And the free football is recovered by Southern Cal. Tried to get the ball to Al Hunter, could not. Now USC has the ball, 1st and 10 at the Notre Dame 46. The turnover, the bane of Notre Dame's misfortune so far this season. And now on a run that goes straight ahead, and Ricky Bell again gets very short yardage, only about a yard. Tried to cut straight up the middle. He slipped as he hit the line of scrimmage and then was fallen upon by outside linebacker Jim Stock. Bell has run with the ball 5 times. He has gained 6 yards. It is 2nd down and 9 for USC at the Notre Dame 45-yard line. I set in the backfield, sideline to the left. Here's a handoff to Bell, breaks into open field, gets down to the Notre Dame 35. And appears to have a first down for the Trojans. Randy Harrison finally got him down as Ricky Bell ripped off left tackle, straight ahead slant play, moved out to the outside. And very quickly he picks up a first down for the men of Troy. He gets 10 yards. And the last time they tried to hand the ball to Al Hunter, he fumbled. Really was not his fault. The connection was never made. Now on the turnover, USC has it back. Sideline to the left, open field to the right. Evans dropping to throw, looking deep, puts it up long. A man is open, Randy Simmerin. It's overthrown. Randy Simmerin had the Notre Dame secondary beaten, and Vince Evans threw it a mile, but much too much for Randy Simmerin to get to it.
Lopinski and Randy Harrison both trying to get to him, but this fellow's got all the speed they say. Randy Simmerin, he was down there. He was behind Lopinski, and here was Harrison trying to catch him from the side. Incidentally, talking about receiving, Simmerin has caught 13, the leading receiver on this team, for 264 yards this year.
Very lithe, quick receiver Simmerin from Burbank, California. He's a sophomore, not very big, but very, very quick. Ran it down and out that time. Now it is 2nd down and 10. Evans goes to Bell, off tackle, he runs in headlong into one man, breaks off and gets inside the 30. And down close to the 29. Very hard runner, Ricky Bell, was met head-on by Golick, then spun off and finally was brought down by Bradley and Harrison.
Golick was caught on the block there by the big tight end Mike Howell. Howell, who is 6'7", had straightened the young freshman Golick up and had him in that position. He hadn't put the solid block on him, but he'd straightened him up with a block, and that was where the runner, Ricky Bell, bounced off.
It is now 3rd down and 4 for USC at the Notre Dame 29-yard line. Fighting Irish lead 6-0 first quarter. I set in the backfield. Trojans in white, maroon, and gold. Here's the snap. Evans rolls out, carries himself. He is hit, drives down close to the 28, did not get the first down. Ross Browner, the left end for Notre Dame, brought him down. And Vince Evans is slow getting up. Now he's all right. Looks over to the sideline to John McKay. What do you do on 4th down and 3?
Jim Stock was in on the play, too, cutting it in there. Real fine defensive play up in that line on the option. And this fella can run the option, Vince Evans. He likes to run with the football, though. He doesn't like to pitch it out. He likes to keep.
He's a runner all the way. They'd say he'd be a fullback if he wasn't able to throw so well. USC is going to go from scrimmage. 4th down and 3 at the Notre Dame 27. And now USC signals for and is allotted an official timeout. Doesn't count against them because the crowd noise was too intense. There's a timeout and the... Oh, he's looking to Simmerin. He puts the ball up. Simmerin catches it for a first down at the Notre Dame 18-yard line. Randy Simmerin running it down and out. He bounces back to the huddle. High bouncing stride. Very quick. Big play for USC and first down at the Notre Dame 18.
A lot of action up in the line as though he were going to hand that football off. A 10-yard gain, a first down, Southern Cal. Big play for them. But it was a one-on-one situation. Simmerin was going against Lopinski at the corner, put the move on him, faked him out, and was easily there when the ball got to him.
Vince Edwards takes the snap, hands off to Bell. He is hit as he drives down to the 15-yard line, got 3 yards. He hit into the left side of the Notre Dame defense. He's been running at the right side primarily, Weston and Fry's side. This time he went at Niehaus and Browner, was knocked down after a gain of less than 3 yards, actually. It'll be 2nd and a long 7. The ball just outside the Notre Dame 15-yard line. The clock is running. First quarter, 7:50 to play in it. Notre Dame 6, Southern California nothing. Coming to you over the Mutual Broadcasting System. On 2nd and a long 7. Evans takes the snap. He's rolling out. He's going to run himself. Tries to turn the corner. Doesn't get far. Got down to the 15, the line of scrimmage, and Ross Browner counted him. Knocked him down. There's a flag down on the field. Al?
Randy Harrison came over to help lock him in on the sidelines there. The flag went down almost immediately. I couldn't detect a thing over there. It looks as though tackling the head mask, a face mask, or grabbing the face mask over there possibly. And the officials talking over there about the 15-yard line. It is face mask penalty against Notre Dame. That's going to cost them because they're already inside of the 15, and Don, that means they'll move it down around the 10-yard line. Let's see when they step it off. 6-0. The Irish lead in the football game. Southern California challenging now. They're inside of the 10-yard line as they step the ball off, the penalty for tackling by the face mask to the 7.5-yard line. Don?
USC has open field to the left. Trojans moving right to left as we're located here at Notre Dame Stadium. Evans takes the snap, pitches back to Ricky Bell, running hard and a pitch back. He is creamed by Browner. Might have gotten a yard as he's wrapped out of bounds on the short side of the field, the far side. Golick, the middle linebacker, also drilled him.
Browner, Banks, Golick, all of them were there. There was no way to swing around the outside. He was going to the short side of the field to begin with, and sometimes you wonder about a football team trying to wedge some yardage out on the short side of the field. Maybe they think they can do it over there against this Notre Dame alignment. You can't, though, because you've got Fry on one side, you've got Browner on the other side, and both of them are great defensive ends.
Just inside the 7. Evans dropping to throw. He looks. He's going to have to hurry. They're going to get him way back at the 24-yard line. Jeff Weston, Willie Fry, and Bob Golick. And USC is set back from the Notre Dame 7 back to the Notre Dame. They're spotted at the 22, Al.
Notre Dame was going with the middle linebacker blitzing. Golick came straight up the middle there. Willie Fry and Jeff Weston on the outside with him. A great play defensively. 16 yards. That was the loss. 16 yards, throwing Southern California all the way back to the 22-yard line. That may have been the key play of the quarter, you might say, for the Irish defense, and they have got a good one.
Harrison and Banks, the deep safeties for Notre Dame, dropping way back. They'll be in zone coverage. 2 wide receivers set to the short side of the field, the right. Here is the snap to Evans. Dropping back to throw is Vince Evans. Another big rush. Ross Browner's got it. Now he gets away. He looks. He puts it up. It's intercepted. Intercepted by John Dubinetsky at the 2-yard line. So Notre Dame stops the USC drive and takes over the football on an interception. Al Wester.
There's the big defensive play. There's the big play the Irish needed. All right, with the score, Notre Dame 6, Southern California nothing. There's a timeout on the field now. This for Buick.
We are set to go. Montana, the sophomore quarterback, down over his center. Quell. Handoff off the right side. Goes to Havens. He fumbled the football. And Notre Dame got it back. Havens, who's been a great young player, but either gives you 50 yards or a fumble this early in his career, lost the ball and got it back at the 5-yard line, just inside the 5L.
Just inside the 5, Don, at the 4-yard line. Havens is going out of the ball game. We've got a replacement in the Notre Dame backfield for him. I believe number 14 has gone into the Notre Dame. Steve Orsini is in there.
Orsini is in, a very sure-handed ball carrier, does not have the speed of Havens. Handoff goes to Hunter. He cracks up and gets only to the 5-yard line as USC closes it right down. Fine defense by the Trojans as substitutes are coming in from the sideline. Running in the game for USC now is number 71, Harold Steele. Boy, they got big people. McLean and Orsini are the setbacks, 2 very sure-handed players. Here's a handoff to Orsini, lunges out across he gets out to about the 8-yard line on a straight-ahead carry. And Dale Logie knocked him down, so Notre Dame will have to punt from deep in their own area of the field, and a good snap and a good punt is critical now.
That's the second big tackle by Logie. Logie went flying over a would-be blocker a moment ago to make the tackle. Now he comes in to do it again.
Joe Restic, a freshman, is going to punt from the end zone. Hits the ball. He gets it downfield, all the way down to midfield. It's taken there and bobbled and dropped. USC falls on it, but the punt is all the way down to the USC 48. Restic hit that 42 from his own end zone. He averaged 51 last week in his first start at the Air Force Academy. So now Notre Dame gets out of the hole and USC gets the football back. Coming up tight on the far outside now. Notre Dame goes with 2 linebackers as Golick gets down in the middle. Stock the other linebacker. Evans looking to throw, throws a home run ball. Shelton Diggs is open. He drops the ball at the 2. USC apparently feeling they can burn Notre Dame deep, has gone to the long pass now 3 times. They've not hit it yet. One was intercepted, but Shelton Diggs was open and the ball caromed off his fingertips on the dead run at the Notre Dame 2. He'd have gone in.
Diggs is the kind of fellow who can do it. Believe me, he caught the 2-point conversion in the Rose Bowl for that 18-17 victory over Ohio State last year. He may be big, 6'3", 195 pounds, but he is fast. His one major problem, Don, is he's injury prone.
Buck Jersey, our ace statistician, pointing out USC has 14 yards and 14 carries running the ball. It is now 3rd and 8. Evans is rolling out. He's looking. He's going to run. He's getting ahead for almost, it looks like he might have first down yardage. Very nicely done by Vince Evans. Knocked out of bounds by Tom Lopinski. It's going to be right down near the 42-yard line of Notre Dame at the far side of the field. As Evans rolled out to the right, was hit out of bounds, and let's see, apparently they're going to measure over there.
Guess who the guy was who made the key block on that? Surprisingly enough, their great running back, Ricky Bell. He took out the strong side linebacker, Jim Stock, and took him out with a fine block.
And it looks to be just short the way they're setting it down, but USC's keeping its offense in. 4th down will be coming up. At the Notre Dame 42, apparently they're not going to punt the ball. Jay Achterhoff comes in, the big man in the middle for the Notre Dame goal line defense, short yardage defense. And linebacker Pete Johnson comes out. They're going to mark the ball down just outside the Notre Dame 42-yard line. So it is going to be 4th down and inches for USC at the Notre Dame 42. Here's the snap. Ricky Bell gets the handoff, dives ahead. I don't know if he got there. He was hit hard by Notre Dame. It's going to be very close, Al.
I believe he might have made it. The indications are that he just might have gotten that ball a nose over the line marker there, maybe a half yard.
He did. He got it there by a foot. So Ricky Bell gets only about 2 feet on the carry, but that was enough for a USC first down.
3 minutes of playing time remaining in the first period here at South Bend. Notre Dame 6, Southern California nothing. A 52-yard effort by Al Hunter for the touchdown for the Irish, and now it's been a real defensive battle with the Notre Dame defense containing Southern California.
Again, USC breaks the huddle. Shelton Diggs, a 9'7" man at 210 pounds, comes out wide to the left. Randy Simmerins wide to the right, and Vince Evans is looking deep. Evans, look, he's caught. Gets away, he fumbles the football now. Notre Dame might have it at midfield. They do. Evans was hit by Niehaus. Willie Fry got the football. Browner also hit him and stripped the ball.
Niehaus really laid it to him. He got him around a leg, give him a jerk, and jerked him loose from the football. And Willie Fry was right there. You talk about a great defensive front four. Brown and Niehaus, Jeff Weston, and Willie Fry. What a front they have. All right, here comes the young quarterback of the Irish onto the field to take command, Joe Montana, and they have it in Southern California territory, Don.
49-yard line. I've got to believe Montana's going to throw pretty soon. That's the 3rd turnover of the game. Montana gives up the middle. Evans fumbles the football, and USC recovers. Jerome Evans fumbles again, and USC recovers again.
David Lewis is the man who made the recovery. The outside linebacker on the strong side, Dave Lewis, recovers the football at the Southern Cal 45, Don, and so Southern Cal sends the offensive unit back. Notre Dame's defense will take over again. 2:28 remaining here in the first quarter, and the Irish in front 6-0.
Fumble, the first that USC's recovered off him. So the Trojans get it right back at their 45. Evans is dropping to throw. Big rush. He is hit as he gets rid of the ball. It is overthrown. Bob Golick drilled Vince Evans, who's down on the field but getting up. Intended for Randy Simmerins, but I'll tell you one thing. Evans, if he's going to continue to throw deep, is going to be a very wary man. He is going to have difficulty completing long passes because he knows he's going to be hit.
Don, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is Mutual, your network for news and sports.
93Q, WQOD FM, Youngstown.
USC breaks the huddle, 1st and 10 now, our 2nd and 10 at their 45. Evans pitches back. Ricky Bell trying to go wide. He turns the corner, is hit, and gets up to midfield, gets to the 49. Mike Banks came up to hit him. Notre Dame playing a mirror defense, defending against the power sweep. They're moving out man-to-man, playing man-to-man. Banks came up and shot up and hit Ricky Bell head-on. He has now run with the ball 12 times. He has gained 36 yards for the Trojans. Tatupu, the fullback, spinning all the way, has not carried the ball.
They go from the odd to 5-man, the Oklahoma defense, to 5-2. Bud Wilkinson's the man who invented it, and he's sitting a couple of booths away from us, to the 4-man occasionally. And here it is, 4 men now with the pass coming up.
Evans rolling out to the left. He's going to run with the ball, and they're going to get him. He is hit down at the Notre Dame 47-yard line, short of the first down. So if John McKay goes for first down here on 4th and 2 from the Notre Dame 47, he is indeed a daring man. He's not going to. He's sending his punter, Glenn Walker, in. USC playing odd percentage football early, throwing on first down 3 consecutive times, and not throwing out patterns, throwing for the bomb.
Walker back for Southern Cal.
Glenn Walker is standing at his 40-yard line. Simon is back with Lopinski for Notre Dame. Here's the snap. It's a good one. Walker takes his time, hits the ball, a long spiral. It might carry into the end zone. Fair catch is signaled for. The ball goes in for a touchback, a 46-yard punt.
Here comes the Southern California offense back onto the field, so instead of Notre Dame taking over, they're going to step off yardage, and that will mean a first down for the Trojans.
Young players are going to make mistakes. USC, with 56 seconds left to go in the first quarter, has the ball 1st and 10. Evans pitches back. Ricky Bell goes wide to the right. He turns upfield. He gets inside the 25 and dives down to the 22-yard line. Hard running Ricky Bell of Southern California gets down to the Notre Dame 22. And there it'll be 2nd down and about 1. He got about 9 on the play, was knocked down by Mike Banks.
I'll tell you one thing, the only way you keep this big Steve Niehaus out of there is to double on him, and they're doubling on him, and he's even beating the double block. That's how strong this young man is. From Cincinnati, Ohio, 6'5", 260, a senior, Steve Niehaus, his final year with the Irish.
2nd down and 1 for the Trojans. Notre Dame 22-yard line, 6-0 Notre Dame late in the first quarter. Hand off to Bell, hit and drop for a loss. He was hit by Ross Browner and thrown down for a loss of a yard.
Ross Browner reached up. He was blocked. He was on the ground, reached up with one hand, got to his knees, grabbed a part of his jersey, and yanked him down. Now, that's tremendous strength that you have with a fellow like Ross Browner. He stands 6'3", 240 pounds, and while he's a sophomore, he plays like a senior.
Now, the gun sounds. That is the end of the first quarter with the score. Notre Dame 6, Southern California nothing in this. USC now with 3rd down and a long 2 at the Notre Dame 23. Evans calling the signals. He is sidelined to the right, takes the snap, pitches back. Ricky Bell running hard. He gets the first down as he dives down to the 20. Down to the 22. Wait a minute, he might be short of. They're spotting out of bounds a little farther back up. He dove across the 20, but they're going to rule he was out of bounds.
Down along the sidelines, the defensive captain, Jim Stock, is laying at the 25-yard line, shaking up a little bit. I think he got a shoe on the helmet there as he made a dive trying to get a hold of Ricky Bell there on the sidelines. So they're holding up for a moment.
USC was short on the run by Ricky Bell, and so it's 4th down for the Trojans at the Notre Dame 22. It'll be 4th down and less than a yard. 4th and about 2 feet. Vince Evans, the quarterback, brings his team out of the huddle. Going with a long count. I set in the backfield. Bell is the second back. He gets the ball, runs. He doesn't designate. He powers his way ahead. It looks like he's got a first down. He's got the first down. He was hit behind the line of scrimmage, then got ahead for a yard inside the 21 and got the first down.
Great second effort there by Ricky Bell made it possible. The Irish defensive line had stopped him cold. He made that great second effort and wriggled forward, I guess, another half yard to the 21-yard line, and there Southern California has the first down. We're in the second period, just underway, 10 seconds in, the clock running, Notre Dame leading 6-0, Southern California in possession, and they have dominated as far as offensive plays go, Don.
They've had the ball more, but Notre Dame has the lead 6-0. Randy Cimarron, Shelton Diggs are out wide to the left. Diggs comes in close now as a slot back. Evans has first down at the Notre Dame 21. The USC quarterback again with a long count. Here's the snap. He's dropping to throw. Way back. He triggers the ball into the end zone. It's caught by Shelton Diggs for a touchdown. Shelton Diggs coming across the middle, caught the ball at the 2 and stepped in, and the game is tied. USC going 55 yards in 8 plays, the last 21. Coming on a perfect strike from Vince Evans to Shelton Diggs, who stepped in front of the Notre Dame defense, caught the ball, and went in standing up.
Sheldon Biggs was the man, and believe me, he laid one out there. He fired a bullet into the corner. It would have been difficult to pick that one off, but Biggs was there, made the grab, stepped in from about the 2-yard line. Now, the try for the point that could send Southern Cal ahead.
Glenn Walker is the point after man. Dennis Thurman will hold. Here's the snap. It's good. The set down is good. The extra point is high into the stands. It is good, and Southern California takes the lead. With the score USC 7 and Notre Dame 6, there's a timeout of the field, and this for the Fighting Irish. USC in the white jerseys, maroon numerals, maroon helmets, gold pants. Here is Walker approaching the ball. He hits it deep. A high kickoff will carry into the end zone. Urich will bring it out. He's at the 5, the 10, the 15. Shoots out across the 20 and dives to the 22-yard line. A return of 24 yards. Down to make the hit for Southern California was Vinny Van Dyke, number 75. And so now it's 1st and 10 for Notre Dame. Joe Montana has not thrown the ball yet. Notre Dame has run just 8 times from scrimmage, but has 71 yards rushing, 52 coming on the run from scrimmage for a touchdown by Al Hunter. Chris Haynes comes out wide to the left. McAfee is deployed to the right. The Irish in bright gold helmets, dark blue jersey with the white numerals, the old gold pants. In formation, Montana looking to throw, triggers it in the flat. Throws it too hard, too wide for McAfee at the 28-yard line. On a down and out, they tried a timing pattern. It'll bring up 2nd down and 10.
Danny Reese moved over on the coverage there just in case, but there was no way for either the intended receiver, McAfee, or the defender to get to the football.
I think Montana saw, Al, that he was so well covered, he put the ball out of everybody's reach, not wanting to chance the interception. Now Orsini is in at fullback. Evans, who's fumbled twice, Notre Dame lost one, is on the sidelines. Here is a handoff to Hunter. Turns upfield. He is hit hard and nicely done. Tackle by David Lewis, an outside linebacker, a junior from San Diego. That was the same play that Hunter went 52 yards for a touchdown in the first quarter with. But this time Lewis was there to plug it up. And that'll bring up 3rd down and 11 for Notre Dame. A loss of a yard actually on the play back at the 21-yard line. The USC 250-member band up and yelling as Notre Dame. Joe Montana drops the throw. He looks. Here is a home run ball. It's a wobbler. McAfee is out there. Can't get to the ball at the USC 42. It's incomplete. Notre Dame will punt from deep in their own area again, and USC could get the ball in good field position.
Clint Strozier with plenty of speed back there. The strong safety refused to let the intended receiver, the big tight end, Ken McAfee, get behind him. Strozier had him beaten. He was back behind him. He was in position to handle him, but the pass was out of the sidelines, out of the playing field area, actually, on the sideline.
Back for Notre Dame.
Danny Reese is back deep for USC. Here is the punt by Restic. A high spiral into the wind. It carries down to the 41-yard line of Southern Cal. Reese tries to go wide. Looks to turn the corner. They're going to throw him down for a loss at the 39. USC breaks the huddle with open field to the left. At their 39-yard line, they have it 1st and 10. Cordell gives off. Here is a handoff up the middle to Mosey to Tupu. His first run, and Notre Dame was looking on Bell. They were keying on the deep back Bell on the eye set, and Tupu gets his first carry and rushes ahead to the Notre Dame 49-yard line for a 1st down.
Moise Tupu, the Pineapple Kid, can he run? They'd say he's a great blocker along with it. He just came right up the middle like a truck, and he carried 12 yards along with him. Picked up 12 yards of real estate.
Again, USC breaks the huddle. Now they have the ball at the 48-yard line of Notre Dame. Wide receiver is White out to the left, Simmer. And here's a handoff to Bell, and again he is knocked down for no gain. Niehaus threw off the blocker, met Ricky Bell head on along with Bob Golick. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Golick was the first man through. It was a 5-man front as Golick moved up and split Weston and Niehaus. And Golick was able to play off a brush block and drive in there low with Niehaus coming in to wrap him up right around the shoulders. Now, those are the kind that hurt you when you get hit both ways.
Now, Ricky Bell has 44 yards on 17 carries. Here is Vince Evans rolling out. He's looking to throw. He stops. He triggers the ball, and Simmerin catches it at the Notre Dame 38. He has a 1st down. Notre Dame has stopped the USC run, but the Trojans are getting there on the pass. Their touchdown came on a throw to Shelton Diggs from 21 yards out.
They were throwing on the strong man, Luther Bradley then. Again, 12 yards more. 12 yards of crack, and you can move right down that field like you own it. And Southern California is beginning to crank it up the right way. They've come up the middle on the big play with Tutupu, and then they went to the air for 2 straight, and that last for 12 yards was a goodie.
38-yard line of Notre Dame. 9th first down for the Trojans. They lead 7-6 in the second quarter. Handoff up the middle. Tutupu breaks into the open, comes inside the 30, and drives down to the 27-yard line. He has a first down. And that Notre Dame defense is going to have to key on Mosey Tutupu, the sophomore fullback from Honolulu, as he now on consecutive carries has picked up first down yardage the first 2 times he's run with the ball. 24 yards and 2 carries. Harrison got him.
Southern California must be using audibles now. They audibleized, I'm sure, then, because Golick was not in the middle on the front 5. It was Jeff Weston, who had moved over, was playing on the center, and they must have audibleized and ran Tutupu right back up the middle.
First and 10, USC. Notre Dame, 27-yard line, pitch back to Bell. Again, he is hit for no gain. Bob Golick got him. Ricky Bell took the pitch back, tried to go wide to the left, and Golick shot through the wave of blockers and knocked down Ricky Bell for no gain. It'll be 2nd and 10. Actually, there's a loss of a half yard in the play. So Ricky Bell has not been able to deliver that big yardage he has earlier this season. Over 1,000 yards in his first 6 games for USC. Wide to the right of Cimarron. Shelton Diggs. Split to the left. Here's Thurman in motion. Handoff goes to Ricky Bell. Weaves down the middle. Weaves inside the 20. And Ricky Bell is down to the 18-yard line and close to a first down. Mike Banks hit him. Notre Dame's defensive backs were strung out by the motion of USC's wide receivers. And then Ricky Bell got through to gain a 9-yarder down to the 18-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 2.
Bell has great balance, and there was a good indication of it. Such finely balanced pins the way he runs. He puts them down, picks them up, lays them out. He's got the balance. It's perfect. But there, coming up, Mike Banks just barely hit him on the leg there and cut it out from under him because he was balancing on that leg.
USC has been challenging consistently, and right now they have the ball 3rd and 2 at the Notre Dame 23. At the Notre Dame 18. Handoff. Ricky, no, it's going to be Evans carrying. They're going to get him for a loss back at the 23. 5-yard loss on the play. They fake to Ricky Bell up the middle, and Vince Evans, the running quarterback, sprinted out to the left. And Luther Bradley playing the left side corner, and Ross Browner, the right end, came up and they got him. So that'll bring up 4th down and 6, and now Southern California will have a very long field goal attempt. Apparently they're going to keep all that offense right in there, and Evans might be throwing.
Banks goes out. Dubinetsky is in.
Now they're going to try the field goal now as Walker comes out. Dennis Thurman will hold. It'll be a 40-yard attempt from the 30-yard line, angle to the right. Snap is good, set down is good. The kick is nowhere near good. It wobbles errantly into the side of the end zone, not long enough, way wide, and Notre Dame takes over on a touchback 1st and 10.
This is where the bowl games are. Mutual brings you the Sugar Bowl, the Gator Bowl, the Liberty and Senior Bowls, the East-West Shrine Game, the Pro Bowl, the best in football postseason games. Right here on Mutual, the world's #1 radio sports network.
Notre Dame has the ball, 1st and 10. Handoff straight up the middle for short yardage out to about the 23. Orsini, who has come in to play fullback. Jerome Heavens, the freshman, fumbled twice for Notre Dame. The Irish lost one of them. He was knocked down by the defensive right tackle for USC, Walt Underwood, and the middle guard, Harold Steele. The Irish trail 7-6 to Southern California. Montana with 2nd and a long 7 coming up. Sends McLean in motion to the right. Here's the snap. Handoff goes to Hunter. Breaks out across the 25. Darts into open field. Crosses the 35 as a first down at the Notre Dame 36. Doug Hogan, the rover back, number 48, finally made the hit as again Al Hunter danced out from the wing back left and skirted up the field. Stutter stepping, weaving, turning, twisting. 14 yards, first down Notre Dame.
Great blocking by the offensive line of the Irish as they pick up the first down. And here they come, Don.
8:25 to go in the first half, clock running. Notre Dame has open field to the left. In motion goes McLean. Fake handoff to Orsini, ripping up the middle. He crosses the 40. On first down, gets out to the 41. Orsini breaking straight up the middle, following the quick lead block. Gets out to the 41-yard line for a gain of 5 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 5. On the stop for Southern California was linebacker Dale Logie. Her goes out wide to the right. Notre Dame's offensive line coming off the ball much more quickly now. Here is Montana rolling out. He looks. He's going to cap it himself. He'll lose yardage. He goes down at the 38. Tried to turn upfield. He was hit by Harold Field. Actually fell down pretty much himself, trying to peel back.
He wanted to run that ball back in off the tackle and just could not make the turn to do it.
So that'll bring up 3rd down and 8 for Notre Dame. The ball at the Fighting Irish 38-yard line, 7:19 to play in the first half. The Trojans of Southern Cal lead 7-6. Montana drops. He looks. He throws. Thrown way out of bounds, nowhere near the intended receiver, Mark McLean, out at the 48-yard line of Notre Dame, and so the Fighting Irish will have to punt as Montana is 0 for 3 throwing the ball. Al?
I just wonder if he isn't setting up something. If he isn't setting up something that he needs to break big later on.
Well, we'll find out. He started slow last week, then came on strong to get 21 fourth-quarter points. Here is the punt by Restic, a high punt fielded by Reese at the 21. Looks for blockers, turns wide, and Reese breaks open and then is hit head-on at the 29-yard line. And the Trojans of USC will go on offense again, 1st and 10. The ball out to their 29-yard line, perhaps the 30. As a player is down on the field for Southern California. But apparently he's all right. He's getting up, and there's a penalty marker down. We're going to have a personal foul against Notre Dame.
That's going to be a costly one now. They're going to step this one off. And looking back at our first period, it was 23 yards in penalty stepped off in the first quarter, and all 23 against the Irish.
It is 1st and 10 for Southern California at the Trojan 46-yard line. The sun has come out from behind the clouds now, shining brightly down on this beautiful grass playing field. Handoff to Bell, breaks ahead, gets a few yards, not much, as Notre Dame swarms him under. Bell was hit behind the line of scrimmage by Niehaus, spun off, and he was knocked down by Doug Becker and Bob Golick, 2 linebackers. Becker in after an absence of 3 weeks. He's been troubled by an ankle sprain.
Jim Stock was coming on the play. He was blitzing, and Stock had an arm around him, but he was tackling high and gave Bell a chance to wrestle loose and make the yardage.
There was a gain of 3 yards on the play. It is 2nd down and 7 for Southern California. The ball at the Trojan 48-yard line. Evans is the quarterback. Trojans set up with wide receivers set to the right and Simran. In motion to the right now goes Dennis Thurman. Here is a pitch back to the strong side. Fumbled football. The ball's up for grabs, and Notre Dame might have it at the USC 47. Irish players signaling they've got it. They've got it. Notre Dame has the football at the USC 47-yard line. And on the ball was linebacker Doug Becker, who will hit you.
Becker is probably the finest linebacker that the Irish have. He's certainly shown us everything. He's had troubles, though, injury prone. He's had troubles for the last 3 weeks and back in action here this afternoon, primarily because he wanted to play football. All right, this is great field position for Notre Dame. Don?
Trojans have turned the ball over twice. Notre Dame has turned it over twice. Notre Dame with the ball at the USC 47-yard line. 6 minutes to go in the first half. USC in the lead 7-6. Here is a handoff. Running off tackle is Orsini. Dives down to the 39-yard line. Slanting off the left side. He got the hole, broke through it, and then dove over the 40 and down to the 38. Clay Matthews with the man who knocked him down, number 60, an outside linebacker for Southern California. It'll be 2nd down and a long 2.
Great blocking on the left side of the line. Ed Bauer, Al Wojcik, Steve Quayle, all of them in there, really plowing ahead to give the runner a little room.
2nd down and just over 2 for Notre Dame. Here is the handoff. Again, they go to Orsini. This time the Trojans are there to stack it up. Dave Lewis came up to make the hit. Also on the play was Walt Underwood, as USC had it defended nicely. And it'll bring up 3rd and about less than a yard, actually, as the ball is advanced down to the 37-yard line and the clock is running. The ball is positioned equidistant across the field. 3rd and less than a yard at the USC 37. Here is Montana. Hands off to Orsini. I don't think he got there. USC hit him. Here's a free football, but it was blown dead. Orsini ran into the left side of the USC defense. He was hit by outside linebacker Dave Lewis and inside linebacker Kevin Bruce. So now what will Notre Dame do with 4.5 minutes to play in the first half? And the ball at the USC 36, just short of a 1st down and 4th down coming up. Chewing on that cigar and walking around. It is now 4th and inches for Notre Dame. Montana fakes the hunter, looks deep, takes his time, throws the ball. Man is open. Too far, incomplete. USC takes over. McAfee had a hand on the ball at the 2-yard line, as Montana had all day. He faked the hunter, dropped back. Nebraska's leading Colorado 21-7.
He needed a big man like Clint Strozier. Strozier matched him straight. for stride. Strozier's 6'3", while McAfee is 6'4". So they're just about the same height. All right, Southern Cal now.
Notre Dame on 4th and inches goes to the deep pass, doesn't get it, so Southern California has the ball 1st and 10 at their 37-yard line. Vince Evans, the quarterback, hands off, running the ball as Tutupu. Penalty marker goes down as Tutupu gets out to the 39. A 2-yard gain. Jeff Weston, the big sophomore defensive tackle from Rochester, hit him. 4 minutes and 23 seconds left to go at South Bend. The first USC penalty is being stepped off now, a 5-yarder, sending the ball back to the 32-yard line. The Trojans were offside. So they'll have the ball 1st and 15 at their 32-yard line. They break the huddle. Out wide to the left this time is Ken Randall. It is the wide receiver. Sophomore Dennis Thurman is wide to the right. I set in the backfield to Tupu. The up back Bell is the second back fake to Bell. Here is Niehaus gearing in on Vince Evans, and Evans goes down at the 29. A loss of 3. You'd have to see Vince Evans as he started to move out, and all of a sudden Niehaus came out of the blocks, and Evans looked up and went down. And Niehaus would have hit him head on.
You know, we were looking forward to the matchup between Steve Niehaus and Marvin Powell, the big guy they called Boomer, the big defensive tackle, or offensive tackle of Southern California's. But it's been Niehaus all afternoon. Niehaus, who has just absolutely come out of the blocks much faster, been able to get across the line and constantly put pressure on the Southern Cal quarterback.
Right now, Niehaus is over the center. Here's a fumble in the USC backfield. Evans falls on the ball at the 27-yard line. A misconnection as Mike Cordell, the center, gave him the snap. Evans started to spin and didn't have the ball. So that'll bring up 3rd down and about 19 yards to go for the first down.
3rd and 19 as Southern California feels the strength of this Notre Dame defense. And the defense has played some fantastically good football today. The Irish offense has had its problems. It's sputtered. The passing attack has not clicked so far.
2:47 to play in the first half. Notre Dame's defensive line digs in. They'll come on the rush. Here is the handoff. Bell is hit behind the line of scrimmage and knocked down at the 25. Jeff Weston was through. Notre Dame's defensive line is literally overwhelming their counterparts from Southern California, throwing them aside. As the premier running back in the country, Ricky Bell, has very unimpressive statistics simply because he hasn't gotten room to run so far. 54 yards and 22 carries. USC with 54 yards and a total of 34 carries. Here is the snap. Penalty marker is down. The punt is blocked. It's into the end zone. Niehaus and a whole host of Notre Dame players are on the ball, but a penalty marker is down.
I've got to believe the penalty was against Southern California,
no,
the left side.
They're calling it back. What are they doing now? Some Notre Dame players are jumping up and down. Others are... Well, I got to wait for an official decision. We've had no indication at all what it's going to be. The punt was blocked into the USC end zone. Notre Dame's Tom Lipinski recovered, but the ball comes back out. The touchdown is negated. A penalty is assessed against Notre Dame. The Irish were offside, and that'll bring up 4th and 15. So the Trojans got a very lucky break. But we have to also point out the Notre Dame player who was offside got the jump, and that's probably why the punt was blocked. Now Walker will punt for Southern California as boos cascade down here at sold-out Notre Dame Stadium. And the Trojan punter, Glenn Walker, cannot call the count. Notre Dame protesting the offside as they block a punt. It goes into the end zone. The subsequent recovery for a touchdown is negated by an offside penalty. So USC gets a chance to punt now. All-out rush, 10-man rush, a big rush again. The ball is blocked again. It is picked up and taken in by Tom Lipinski for a touchdown for Notre Dame. So the Notre Dame Irish are called back on a punt return, a block punt for a touchdown. But they come and do it right again as Lipinski picked up the ball sure-handedly, and you can't tell who blocked it because the whole front was in on Glenn Walker. He never knew it hit him. And Lipinski won't let go of the football.
I'll tell you who's got the football. It's Lipinski. Lipinski scooped up that football, and he was playing it on the bounce.
So now with 1 minute and 59 seconds left to play in the first half. Notre Dame comes back to take the lead, 12-7. Spectacular play all afternoon by the Notre Dame defense, and Al Wester, they go for 2 now.
Will they go for 2? I would have to think so. I would have to think so. They'll go for the 2, all right, with a 12-7 lead and an opportunity to make it 14-7. Would you believe that twice in a row Southern California had the punt blocked? 2 straight times they had the punt blocked by the great defensive effort of Notre Dame. And what a tremendous defensive effort it's been this afternoon. Tom Lipinski was the man. The ball was dribbling on about the 10-yard line when he scooped it up, possibly the 12-yard line where he made the pickup and ran it in for the score.
McLean, Orsini, and Hunter, they are set in a straight T. Hunter goes in motion. Pitch back to Al Hunter. Option pass. The 2-point conversion is good. He throws it to Chris Haynes, and Notre Dame leads 14-7. Notre Dame gets it. The pitch back to Al Hunter. The USC Trojans were up ready to hit him, and Hunter lost it, a wobbly little pass into the corner of the end zone, and freshman Chris Haynes from Sydney, Ohio, grabbed it, came down, stepped in the corner of the end zone, went out of bounds, and Notre Dame now has a 14-7 lead with 1 minute and 59 seconds left to play in the first half. From trailing 7-6 to where they have a 14-7 lead. David Reeve approaches the ball. He hits it at the Notre Dame 40. It's a high spinner, will carry short into the wind. Reese comes up to get it. Somebody else picks it off, Lynn Kane. And Kane breaks open momentarily, then is swarmed under at the 30-yard line. Pete Johnson, who makes plays time after time on special teams, made the hit for Notre Dame. And now, Al Wester, what do the Trojans do with 1:52 left to go in the half?
Well, the thing that they do best of all, they've got the speed, they like the fly patterns, and they're going to go long. They're not going to waste any time. John McKay knows how important it is to go in right after at halftime on the long end of a big play, and he'd like to get a big play right now, and I got to believe they'll throw long.
Well, they've been throwing on first down. Here they come out of the huddle. First and 10 at their 30. 1:52 to go in the first half. Notre Dame 14, USC 7. The snap. Evans is dropping back. Hands off to Ricky Bell. He runs out to the 36. Is really popped as he gets to the 37. Bell hit very hard by Steve Niehaus, who was beaten on the play and then peeled back and ran down Ricky Bell and really hit him.
Oh, did you see Niehaus where he caught Bell? He caught him right around the helmet and stopped him cold.
Collision. Oh, Niehaus is absolutely spectacular for Notre Dame today. Their All-American defensive tackle, a player who probably would have been the first 4-time college All-American. He was that good as a freshman, went down 2 consecutive years with knee injuries. Now as a senior, he's playing the game of his life. Here's Evans handing off to Bell. Again, Niehaus gets him. Also on the play for Notre Dame was linebacker Doug Becker, but Niehaus came from the left tackle, ripped across the middle. Jim Stock also on the play, and Niehaus grabbed Ricky Bell for another short gain. It'll be 3rd and 2.
14-7, the Irish lead after twice blocking punts of Southern California. It's the second time scooping it up and running it in for the touchdown.
Randy Simmerin comes wide to the right. It is 3rd down and 2, but time is so much a factor now, particularly for the Trojans. They have the ball at their 39-yard line. Here's Vince Evans handing off. Ricky Bell turns to the outside. Niehaus stops him. A gain of maybe 2 yards on the play. He might have gotten the first down, but the clock is winding down here at Notre Dame Stadium. 29 seconds, 28. First half drawing to a close, and now USC calls for a timeout with 28 seconds to go. And they're going to have measurement at the Notre Dame at the USC 41-yard line. The Trojans appear they might be close enough to get the first down, but they've got a long way to go from their 41.
Don Criqui, I don't know how judges are going to find out about this or how they're going to feel about it, but if you had to take the first half and pick the defensive player of the game, you'd have to pick a big fella named Niehaus, wouldn't you?
Absolutely outstanding.
Incidentally, Bell has 25 carries in the first half for 65 yards. That's a little over 2 yards a shot.
Getting a lot of work, a very durable back, much like O.J. Simpson. The more you run him, the better he likes it. Doesn't seem to get hurt, and he's really taken some hits. Now the clock starts up. 12 seconds. USC is going to be content to run out the clock and go to the locker room. Evans is dropping to throw. Here's the big rush. He's looking deep. Puts the ball up. Intercepted by Notre Dame. It is picked off. With the ball for the Irish is Tom Lipinski. And he is all the way down. He's still on his feet. Inside the 40. Inside the 30. Time has run out as Lipinski gets down to the 17-yard line of Southern California. But there is no time left for a play.
14-7, ladies and gentlemen. Notre Dame leads Southern California at halftime as the Southern Cal band 250 strong. The Trojan band moves out. And we will run over our unofficial stats. The Polish Prince has just handed them to me in just a moment. Just want to say a quick hello here to the author of a very fine new book, Mr. Paul Kastner. Many years ago, Mr. Kastner played football under Knute Rockne. He knew Rockne and was as close a friend, I think, possibly as any man could ever be. And Paul Kastner, just a quick hello from you, and just a word about your book.
Hi.
We Remember Rockney.
I played 55 years ago with George Gipp, with Norm Berry, and when Gipp was taken out, I was put in. I ran interference for Norm Berry in 1920 in Indiana.
And Norm Berry is right here with us too, ladies and gentlemen. Here's a man who played halfback with George Gipp.
I'm very happy to be on the air today, and especially because this game is going as it is.
Norm, I know you're happy about this.
Yes, I am.
I've got to ask you quickly, just a few highlights about George Gipp. What kind of man was he?
Well, he was a great football player. He was a great man. Gipp was the type of a player that said, you be there and the ball will be there. And when we were there, the ball was thrown right where he wanted it.
As an individual, I've heard so many things said about him that he was a Mustang, difficult to handle.
No, he was not at any time. He was always a very calm man, and he never had, Rockney never had any problems with Gipp all the time he was on the team.
Just a beautiful kind of guy to have with you then, and you played the other halfback.
Yes, I did.
And Norm, was there a favorite play you or Gipp had at that time?
We had a play down the center, was called number 54, and the ends went down and out, and I went over the center and used to throw the ball down there, and he could put it right on the button.
Norm, were you with the team the year that Gipp died?
Yes, I was. I played at Northwestern the last game that Gipp played, and he was only in for one play. He threw a ball 55 yards in the air to me, and I caught it and ran 15 yards for a touchdown, which was the longest pass completed until Brick Muller of California threw one 70 yards for a touchdown.
Len Walker set the kickoff. Al Hunter and Terry Urick are back for Notre Dame. Walker is into the ball, a high spinning kickoff. It'll carry deep. Urick 2 yards deep. Brings it out the far side, crosses the 10, 15, across the 20. Breaks to the outside and gets out across the 25. Out to the 27. Ken Randall knocked him down, but Terry Urick, a sophomore from Saginaw, Michigan, returns the opening kickoff of the third quarter, 29 yards.
Mike Carey was in on that tackle also, bringing him down at the 27-yard line. And here comes Joe Montana onto the field. Don, I think we're going to have a fired-up, hot second half.
We've had a great first half. It is Luther Bradley who is credited with blocking the punt that was subsequently returned for a touchdown by Lopinski. Montana hands off, running with the ball is Orsini, and the USC tacklers are there to get him. Hard-hitting plays by the USC tacklers. Clay Matthews, an outside linebacker, and Gary Jeter, number 79, were on the stop for the Trojans. In the Notre Dame backfield, we have Joe Montana, quarterback, worked the first 2 quarters. His fullback is Orsini. He's a sophomore. Freshman Jerome Heavens started. Had trouble holding onto the ball. Fumbled twice. One was recovered by USC. And then Orsini came in. In the backfield with Orsini, McLean and Hunter. McLean goes in motion to the right. Here's a handoff. Running up the middle is Al Hunter. Crosses the 30. Gets out to about the 32-yard line. There was a gain on the play of some 4 yards as Harold Steele, a big middle guard for Southern California, made the hit on Al Hunter. That'll bring up third down and a long 5 for Notre Dame. The ball at the Notre Dame 32-yard line. 14-0 to future opponents of the Irish. Montana's 0 for 4 throwing the ball, so you know he's going to complete one sooner or later. He's dropping back now, takes his time, fires. It is in the air. It is intercepted beautifully by Southern California. He indeed completed one, but to the wrong jersey. The ball was picked off by the rover back Doug Hogan. He caught the ball, bobbled it, dove ahead, and grabbed it, and he has the ball at the Notre Dame 37.
He has great speed. That ball hit his shoulder pads, and it was a bullet fired by Montana. It bounced high in the air. He still managed to control the football as he went down. And now the Trojans have possession inside the Notre Dame 40 at the Notre Dame 37-yard line. Oh, man, Trojan football now offensively as they break the huddle.
Down over his center, Mike Cordell. Mosey to Tupu, the fullback in the I formation. Ricky Bell, the latest in a series of great tailbacks for USC, the wing to deep back. And here is a handoff to Tupu on first down. He crashes down close to the Notre Dame 30. Pete Johnson hit him. Notre Dame turning the ball over 3 times now in this game. And this could be a costly one as the Fighting Irish with a 14-7 lead now have given USC field position on that last carry by Tupu at the Notre Dame 30-yard line. The middle of the Irish defense making the hit. Fry and Browner are the defensive ends. Niehaus and Weston are the tackles. Golick, the freshman's the middle linebacker. Becker and Johnson, the outside linebackers. Lopinski and Bradley at the corners. Here is a handoff running as Ricky Bell. He's inside the 25 and down close to the 23-yard line. Willie Fry finally knocked him down as Ricky Bell, coming out of the tailback position, slanted off to the left, cut to the outside, and got ahead for a first down for the Trojans at the Notre Dame 23.
Fine block in the line there by Marvin Powell, the big offensive left tackle. Boomer Powell made the block, the key block on Jeff Weston, so that his runner, Ricky Bell, could slide by.
In the one game Notre Dame lost this year to Michigan State, they turned the ball over 6 times on fumbles, twice in interceptions. That has been their big problem this year. Here is a handoff to Tatupu. He gets ahead for big yardage, a first down at the Notre Dame 13. He was hit at the 15. Spun off it, dove ahead for 2 more yards before Willie Fry finally knocked him down. And so now the Trojans are challenging for what could be a game-tying touchdown if they can hit the extra point after it. And there's going to be a timeout signal for an official timeout. They're going to measure. Timeout with the score Notre Dame 14, Southern California 7.
Talking about Tatupu, and you've got to talk about this young fella with all that quick breakaway speed. He scored 21 touchdowns as a senior in high school.
Now the Trojans are out of the huddle. They did not get the first down, but it is 2nd and inches at the Notre Dame 13. Here is Evans with the snap. Handoff Ricky Bell. He dives down close to the 11. He's got the first down for Southern California. He was hit in the middle of the Notre Dame defense by Bob Golick, the middle linebacker. Also on the play for Notre Dame was Jeff Weston and Steve Niehaus. The Trojans of Southern California with Marvin Powell and Mel Jackson at the tackles. Don Hickman and Joe Davis the guards. Mike Cordell is the center. Notre Dame goes into a flex defense. They spread out the defensive linemen. Over the nose of the center is Golick. Here is a handoff by Evans. No, he's going to keep it himself. Inside the 5, he is down to the 4-yard line. Tim Simon, the free safety, finally knocked him down. Ross Browner was also on the play for Notre Dame. And off the bottom of the pile is linebacker Pete Johnson. But the Trojans are now challenging. They have the ball 2nd and 3 for a first down, 2nd and 4 for a touchdown. Al?
Jay Achterhoff will come into the ball game. He will move in there, replacing linebacker Pete Johnson now as they try to throw the strong front up there. Doug Becker had a shot a moment ago at the ball carrier and just let him slide by.
USC out of the huddle. Cimarron is wide to the right, the open side of the field. It is 2nd and 3 at the Notre Dame 4. Evans pitches back. Bell running. He's going to go down to the 3-yard line, maybe the 2. He was knocked down short of the first down. So it'll be 3rd and about 2 for the first down, 3rd and 3 for the touchdown. On the big defensive play for Notre Dame was Jay Achterhoff. Number 79, a senior from Muskegon, and Doug Becker back in the lineup, the sophomore outside linebacker from Hamilton, Ohio. 3rd down and less than 2 for USC. The ball just outside the Notre Dame 2-yard line. USC conceivably could get a first down if they advance the ball inside the Notre Dame 1. 10-14 to go. Notre Dame is in the lead, 14-7, but the Trojans of USC are challenging now. Evans takes the snap, hands off. Ricky Bell dances. He's down close to the goal line. It's a touchdown for Southern California. As Ricky Bell hit into the middle, wove off to the left, and dove in for a touchdown. USC going 37 yards in 9 plays. And now if Glenn Walker can hit the point after they'll have tied the game, capitalizing on still another Notre Dame turnover in this game. Al?
37 yards, 9 plays. The Trojans are on the boards. It's a 14-13 game. All right, let's see that 2-point try. Nope, they're going for the tie. They're going up for the extra point from the kick. Don?
This early, I guess that's the basic strategy most coaches would go to. Here's the snap. It's good. The set down. The kick is high into the stands by Glenn Walker. It is good. And the game is tied. With the score, Notre Dame 14 and Southern California 14. There's a timeout on the field, and this for Royal Globe Insurance. It's a difficult win to assess just how it's going to affect play because it comes up all of a sudden. And now Walker approaches the ball. Hits it short. It's a spinner. Under it is Urich at the 8, 10, straight ahead, 15, 20, breaks into the open, across the 20, out to the 30, still on his feet, out across the 35, drives out to the 38. And Urich gives Notre Dame relatively good field position, Al, at the Notre Dame 38-yard line.
You'd never believe that this young man missed most of last season, 74, because of a hamstring. Glenn Walker, who did the kick, kicking off, finally made the tackle and brought his man down at the 39-yard line. Fairly good field position for the Irish.
Over the past 3 years, the winner of this Notre Dame Southern California game has gone on to win the national championship. Here is a handoff to Al Hunter. He drives out for good yardage right up the middle, puts the ball in both arms, and then spins up across the 45 to the 46. Gary Jeter, who John McKay says is one of the great defensive linemen he's ever had, from Cathedral Latin High School in Cleveland, Ohio, made the stop for the Trojans. Bright gold helmets, the blue jerseys with the white numerals. Montana, the quarterback, has not completed a pass yet. Is to Orsini. He drives out to the 48-yard line. It looks like he'll be just short of the first down as he was knocked down by Walt Underwood of USC.
That's two great tackles there. Walt Underwood on the right side, number 95, a 225-pound sophomore, and Jeter, number 79, a 240-pound junior.
Notre Dame is quickly out of the huddle. It'll be third and less than a yard. Orsini is the fullback. Mana takes the snap. Here's the snap, and the handoff goes to Orsini, and he is out close to midfield, hitting off the right side. The blocking led by Quell, the center, Hughes, and Poland. The guard and tackle on the right side. It is a first down for Notre Dame.
Once again, a reminder, fans, that the Lazy Boy Chair Company is recognizing the offensive and defensive players in this game, and a beautiful Lazy Boy reclining chair in their names will go to the athletic department of their respective schools. We'll announce the winners at the end of today's game, incidentally. Our three judges are down in the press box, and we'll name those winners. First down for the Irish, just shy of the midfield stripe. Don?
Chris Haynes, a freshman, comes out as the flank receiver to the left. McLean is a wing back to the right. Montana sends McLean in motion, goes with a long count. Here's the snap. Fake, handoff to Hunter. Reverse play. Hunter spins out to midfield, got only a yard. He came off from the wing to the left, came around behind Montana, took the handoff, tried the left side of the USC defense, and was knocked down by the middle guard, Harold Steele, who wears number 71. And now Steele goes out. They're alternating middle guards. Tim Rames comes in. Kevin Bruce, an outstanding linebacker, is the man who calls defensive signals for USC. It'll be second down and 9 for Notre Dame. The ball at the midfield stripe. The game is tied in the third quarter. Montana this time sends Hunter in motion. Here is the snap. Montana rolls out. He's rolling. Coming back the other way. Looking like he's going to run with the ball. He turns the corner. And he gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that is all as he's run out of bounds. It looked like a set play, Al. He started out to the right, then came back, tucked the ball in. There were blockers there, but USC ran it down.
I don't know whether Montana, the quarterback, blew the player or whether one of his halfbacks. He looked as though he was going down his line looking for a back to pitch out to, and there was nobody out there. Nobody was trailing him, and then suddenly Joe realized it, came to the right corner, turned around, and reversed his field, and of course, coming laterally across the field, runs it out of bounds.
McAfee, the tight end, comes out now. Two wide receivers are in. Kelleher to the left, Haynes to the right. It is third and 9 for Notre Dame at the Irish 49. Montana, straight drop. They double team Jeter. He gets time, swings it out to Hunter. Cross midfield and down to the 46-yard line of USC, where he's hit hard by Ron Bush, a junior cornerback from San Bernardino, California. So Notre Dame will have to punt the football to the Trojans. Joe Restic, the freshman punter whose father is the head coach at Harvard University, is in to punt for Notre Dame. As a high school player in Milton, Mass, he averaged 43 yards. Very few pros will average that. Restic is standing back at his 40-yard line. Deep back is Danny Reese for USC. A good snap. The ball is punted low but long. Reese lets the ball go. And now it is out of bounds. It's inside the 5-yard line of the Trojans. Beautifully done by Restic. He angled the punt 43 yards and put it out at the 3-yard line of USC.
Fantastic kick. This young fella has been kicking the hide off of a football. He had 5 punts against the Air Force, and he averaged 51 yards a kick. Now he puts Southern California deep in their own territory. They have to go into a huddle behind their own goal line. A 14-14 ball game with 6 minutes, 50 seconds remaining in the third period. And Don, this is a real barn burner.
6:50 to go in the third quarter here at South Bend. Don Criqui with Al Wester, Buck Jersey, the entire Mutual Broadcasting System crew. First and 10 for USC at the USC 3-yard line. Handoff, Ricky Bell, not much at all. Now Mosey Tutupu, the fullback, spun out. Might have gotten a yard. They'll spot the ball down at the 4. Niehaus hit him. Second down and a long 8.
Don, they're dropping a linebacker. Pete Johnson was up on the front 4 there. He made a 5-man rush on that. And then they fired the other outside linebacker, Doug Becker, just the same across. I'm telling you, they're putting the pressure on this running game and stopping it before they can get it started.
Junior Lee comes in as a wide receiver, replacing Randy Simron. Brought in a play. Lee is on the left flank. Niehaus comes down over the center now. It is second down, a long 8 for USC inside their 5. Evans is dropping to throw. A big rush. He gets the ball away. Man is going for it. It's overthrown. That Evans can really unload. And he was unloaded upon by Jeff Weston. Evans throwing from his end zone, going for the broke. And Shelton Diggs, the intended receiver, couldn't get to it as Evans from his own end zone put the ball all the way downfield. It bounced incomplete at the Notre Dame 40.
Down to the 43-yard line of Notre Dame. So you can figure Mr. Evans can throw if he has to. And he's got the guys to go and get it. This Diggs has really got some speed.
Yes, he does. A great sprinter. Very big, strong wide receiver. He's out wide to the left now along with Dennis Thurman. It is third, a long 8 for USC. The ball inside the Trojan 5. Evans rolling, hands off. Bell has the ball. And he is in open field. Ricky Bell is still on his feet out across the 25. He's out to the 28. Almost knocked down by Jeff Weston in the backfield. He got free. And USC breaks the big gainer to move the ball out.
Southern California caught Notre Dame blitzing. They've been looking for the opportunity. They found them cold blitzing, and that field was wide open. It was just a matter of taking the football and going with it, and Mr. Bell can do it in a hurry.
So USC gets the big play as Ricky Bell has now gained 103 yards on 30 carries. That last carry by Bell, good for 24 yards. The Trojans get out of the hole now. They have the ball first and 10 at their 29. Motion in the USC line. The left guard was off in motion. There'll be a 5-yard assessment against the Trojans. Yeah, Navy was up on Pitt 14-0 at the half. Now the Trojans break the huddle after the penalty against them. They have the ball first and 15 at their 24-yard line. They are moving left to right with open field to the right. Here is a handoff. Ricky Bell runs, does not gain a thing. Tries to weave to the outside, and Jeff Weston got him and wrote him down. Jeff Weston, a 253-pound sophomore defensive tackle, threw away his blocker and got Ricky Bell for no gain. It'll be second down and 15. Al?
The one thing you've got to be careful of when you play defensive football like the Irish are against this great running back, Ricky Bell, they're throwing one of their linebackers up in the line, and then they're blitzing another. And when you do that, if he ever breaks that front line, good night, Irene. He's off to the races.
Second down and 15. Evans, who's been throwing long all game long for USC, has his team in an alignment with 2 wide receivers to the right. He's rolling out. Vince Evans running, hit by Ross Browner and hit by Doug Becker. Nicely done. Tom Eastman also on the play. He's in the game as the middle linebacker. That'll bring up a 3rd and 12 at the USC 27.
Browner had him around the legs, and Eastman really cracked him from the blind side. That had to hurt. That's the kind that's smart.
Al, you have to wonder when Notre Dame's Montana is going to deliver, because he has every game he's been in. He started slow every game he's been in.
He's a fourth quarter man.
He hasn't thrown a pass completed yet. He threw one to USC that was picked off. He is the fourth quarter man. Notre Dame scoring 21 points in the fourth quarter the last 2 weeks to come from behind. 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. 3rd and 12 for USC at their 27. Game tied 14-14. Evans drops to throw. Big rush. Gets time. Puts it up. Incomplete to Simron, and Simron goes down grabbing his knee. Randy Simron, peeling back at the ball, goes down. He's grabbing at his knee.
Don, Evans had to throw underneath the rush put on by Steve Niehaus. Niehaus, with his hands high in the air, had a clean shot at him, and Evans threw underneath him. That's why that ball was thrown into the ground.
Tremendous young football player, Randy Simron, a consensus high school All-American. And now there's a timeout with the score. Notre Dame 14, Southern California 14. Little man, 165-pound wide receiver. The Trojans will have to punt down, 4th and 2. Walker standing back inside his 15. He's got to be nervous after 2 earlier ones were blocked. Here's the punt, end over end. He gets it away quickly. Simon makes the catch at the Notre Dame 33, weaves across the 40. Still on his feet. He's going to be knocked down at the 40 as he cuts back. A 40-yard punt by Glenn Walker. And now Notre Dame goes back on offense, 1st and 10. George Welsh doing an excellent job as coach of that team.
Not apparently down there the officials had indicated the possibility of the timeout. They're taking it. So with the score, Notre Dame 14, Southern Cal 14, there's a timeout on the field. Now this for Lazy Boy Chairs.
This is 93Q, WQOD FM, Youngstown.
Notre Dame goes from scrimmage and goes to Al Hutter straight up the middle for a short gain. He got 2 yards out to the 42-yard line of the Fighting Irish. Gary Jeter knocked him down for Southern California. The clock is running here at South Bend. 3 minutes and 20 seconds to play in the third quarter. Notre Dame 14, Southern California 14. The Fighting Irish led at the half 14-7. They scored on a blocked punt that Luther Bradley blocked and Tom Lipinski picked up and took in for the touchdown. But USC's come back to score. Here's Montana dropping back. He looks, he throws, it's complete to Hunter. And he is quickly tackled at the 45. A gain of only 3 yards. David Lewis, an outside linebacker, number 57, made the defensive play for USC. Al?
Lewis moving over laterally. Great pursuit by this young junior. He's 6'3", 224 pounds, but he really gets there. He gets the coverage and puts it on. He had a great game against Notre Dame in '74, incidentally.
He made the hit on McLean and started USC right back the other way. Now it is 3rd and 5, Montana with a long count. He's looking to throw. No, he's going to drop and hand off to Orsini, who dives ahead across midfield. And he is going to be very close to a first down. He needed 5. They went with a draw play. I think he might have it, Al.
I believe he's got it. He's over the line. They're going to bring the yard markers out.
You've been pretty good in this now. What do you say?
Yeah, I'll go along.
You've been pretty good picking those out.
I've got to believe that he's got the first down. I believe the tip end of that ball is going to hit the sticks. 2.5 minutes remaining here in the third quarter. 14-14, and what a battle we've seen this afternoon.
There it is. The nose of the football has the first down for Notre Dame. That is only the 4th first down in this game for Notre Dame. USC has 14, but the score is tied up 14-14. From midfield, the Irish go on offense, moving right to left. Here is Orsini running hard. He dives down to the 45-yard line. Orsini got ahead for almost 5 yards. Kevin Bruce from La Cañada, California, upended him, made the stop. It'll be second down, a long 5 for Notre Dame, just outside the USC 45-yard line.
Great blocking straight ahead up there. Ed Bauer at the left tackle, Al Wojak at the left guard, center Steve Quayle driving ahead there. Orsini, incidentally, has carried 11 times this afternoon for 35 yards.
Notre Dame moving right to left, has open field to the right. McLean comes in motion. He gets the handoff, starts up the middle. He dives down to the 42. He'll be short of the first down. It'll bring up 3rd and short yardage. McLean coming in motion right to left, took the handoff, started straight up the middle, and he was knocked down on the play by Kevin Bruce, the man who calls defensive signals. Bring up 3rd and a short 2. That's the first time, Al, that McLean has run with the ball today. Penn State has defeated Army 24-0. Handoff to Hunter. He dives down close to the 40. Did not get the first down. Al Hunter got down close to the 40, but the USC pursuit got him, threw him back. Again, Kevin Bruce led the charge. David Lewis was also on the play. And off the bottom of the pile is Larry Nunnally. 4th and inches for Notre Dame, just outside the USC 40. Tight formation, 2 tight ends. Montana with a long count. Gets the handoff, gives to Orsini. First down, Notre Dame. Orsini dives down to the 38, hitting off the right side. So Notre Dame on 4th and inches goes for the first down and gets it. As the third quarter is now just about out. 21 seconds to go in the third quarter, the clock running.
A great block there by tight end Ken McAfee. The big fella, the big blockbuster from Brockton, Massachusetts. The big sophomore really blasted away there to clear the way and get that extra half yard they needed for the first down.
First time they got the ball, it took them 2 plays to score, but one was a 52-yard run. Now as Hunter breaks into the open, the play is whistled dead for some reason. Al Hunter skirted up the middle and broke into the open, but they ruled the third quarter had ended before the snap. No play. That is the end of the third quarter with the score. Notre Dame 14, Southern California 14. Jack Schneider, a Notre Dame grad, is here. Bob Wood, the president of CBS Television, is here. He's from USC. Bob Wessler, head of CBS Sports, is here. Here's a handoff to Orsini. On first down, he hits down to the 35-yard line. And Al Wester is here, and Notre Dame is moving the ball.
They're moving the ball. They're moving it on the inside. And Orsini, who is actually playing behind Jim Browner and Jerome Evans at the fullback slot, has been in there carrying the football for most of the yardage. Don?
In the fourth quarter, Illinois is beating Michigan State 21-13. The Polish Prince is down. A Spartan. Here's a handoff again. They go to the run straight up the middle. Notre Dame on a third and long yardage carries the ball inside the 35-yard line of Southern California. Urich carries. Boy, he can play football, this little guy. Little, he's 5'9", but he weighs 193. And Devine, the Notre Dame coach, with a very, very excellent record in big games over his collegiate career at Arizona State, at Missouri. And this is his biggest one in his first year as coach in Notre Dame. Montana throws. Man is open. McAfee inside the 20. Puts his head down and crashes down to the 15. 13:47 to go. Clint Strozier runs the ball down to hitting McAfee. Who is that man that yelled out? There's a familiar ring to that voice. Down to the 15-yard line, 1st and 10 there. Notre Dame breaks the huddle with open field to the right. An 18-yard gain. The Irish starting to challenge now. Handoff to Hunter. He is stutter stepping and weaves down for a 2-yard gain. USC shuts it down nicely. Walt Underwood, who has played a very, very solid but unspectacular game, always in on the plays in tight, was on the stop for the Trojans. Game tied, 14-14, fourth quarter. Montana, having completed his first pass for 18 yards. Then McAfee, handoff to Orsini, driving ahead. He gets down to the 12. And Al, I think that we're going to see the pass again now from Montana.
Well, we're going to have to, because the nose guard, Tim Rames, and the defensive right tackle, Walt Underwood, both of them in there jamming the play. The Irish are coming off of the ball. They're coming off of it well right now, but Southern California is playing strong up the middle now. They've had enough of Orsini slicing up the middle for 5 yards at a crack. The Irish have burned 2 downs now. They've got a 3rd down coming up in long 6 yards.
At the 13-yard line, Notre Dame breaks the huddle. Wide receivers go to either side. In Haynes and Kelleher, they give to Orsini. He dives inside the 10 and gets down close to the 9-yard line. He will be short of a 1st down, but he puts the ball in very excellent field goal range as Doug Hogan made the play on defense along with Gary Jeter for the Trojans. And now here comes sophomore David Reeve in the Notre Dame field goal unit. Rick Slager will hold Al.
All right, Reeve is coming on here, and this young fella can kick them. His best kick so far was 44 yards. He's 5 for 7 in the field goal department. Rick Slager will do the holding.
The snap, set down's good. Kick is high enough. It's spinning through the uprights. Notre Dame is in the lead, 17-14 on the field goal by David Reeve. Didn't carry too deep, but it was right through the middle. A 27-yard field goal. With 11:38 to go in the game, the Irish take the lead 17-14. And now there's a timeout on the field, and this for State Farm Insurance. Interesting, Notre Dame has outscored its fourth quarter opponents 73-7 this season. Scoring 21 points in the fourth quarter the last 2 weeks to come from behind, but it wasn't against USC, and this great Trojan team will be back in it. The kickoff is a spinner. It is short. Lynn Kane at the 15, 20. Dives out across the 25, out close to the 29. And there Southern California goes on offense, 1st and 10, as John Likovich came down to make the tackle. A very short kickoff by David Reeve. Notre Dame is in the lead 17-14. 425 radio stations across the length and breadth of America listening on a mutual broadcasting system today. 8 million in the radio audience. And many, many more around the world on American Forces Radio. USC with the ball trailing now for a 3rd time in this game. Here is Evans. Hands off to Ricky Bell. He turns wide, gets across the 30. Bell's across the 40. And is finally run out of bounds at the 48-yard line. Ricky Bell got to the outside and got the big gainer for USC. A 19-yard gain. And so the ball is now out to the 48-yard line. Tim Simon ran him out of bounds. Ricky Bell almost broke at the distance, Al.
Bell turned the corner primarily because Willie Fry, one of those few times, was crashing on the play. Fry, the big defensive right end, came crashing in. Bell, with that stutter step and that fast breakaway speed, managed to get outside of him for the big gain.
It is 1st and 10 for the Trojans at their 48-yard line. Fourth quarter, 11:24 to play in the game. Again, they go to Ricky Bell. Again, he turns the corner and gets inside the 40. They'll spot him out of bounds right at the Notre Dame 40. They're running a power sweep to the left. The guards are getting out in front of Ricky Bell, and this time he came to the short side of the field, a 12-yard gain.
Fine faking by quarterback Vince Evans. He was faking up the middle there. He got Fry coming in, and he tricked Doug Becker, the outside right side linebacker, into making that fatal 2 steps the wrong way. Bell now has 134 yards in 33 carries.
11:18 to go in the game. Shelton Diggs, who caught a touchdown pass from 21 yards out earlier, is on the right flank. Vince Evans, the quarterback. Long count. Handoff to Tupu up the middle. He powers his way inside the Notre Dame 35 and down to the 32. Mosey to Tupu, 6 feet tall, 225 pounds. Great power running right up the middle. He slanted to the outside. Finally knocked down by Ross Browner and John Dubinetsky.
Southern Cal calling the plays beautifully now. They come back and they work on the middle. First they work off the ends. They suck the linebacker in. They catch the defensive end slanting in a little bit too much. Then they come back up the middle. Let's watch them this time, Don.
Evans with open field this time to the left. It is second down, a long 2. He hands off, goes to Ricky Bell. Up the middle, Bell drives ahead for a first down and almost breaks away. What power. Bell running up the middle, got the first down, then seemed to squirt loose for a moment before he was finally knocked down for good by Ross Browner. Steve Niehaus was also on the play for Notre Dame. But it's a first down for the Trojans at the Notre Dame 27.
Willie Fry had a leg there, like picking a drumstick at Thanksgiving, but he just couldn't hold on. This fella gives it to you, Bell gives it to you and takes it away, and you're holding air.
Notre Dame needs the big defensive play now as USC is driving. Fourth quarter, Notre Dame leads 17-14. Evans takes the snap. He rolls out. He hands off. Ricky Bell has the ball in 20 and down to the 16-yard line. A misdirection play, started to the right, then slanted back across the grain, caught the pursuit in an overrun. That's one of the things linebacker coach George Kelly of Notre Dame said we can't do. We can't overrun Bell. We've got to contain him. An 11-yard gain.
Bell is one of the finest change-of-pace runners I think I've seen here at Notre Dame in 8 years. He'll be going straight to the right. And on a dime, he can stop and do a 45-degree turn. Now, this fellow's fantastic.
16-yard line of Notre Dame, fourth quarter. A lot of time left. Handoff to Tupu, breaks across the 10. He is down to the 2-yard line. Pete Johnson finally knocks him down as USC is really running the ball right at Notre Dame. And now the Trojans have a first down. And they challenge for the go-ahead touchdown with 9.5 minutes to go on the clock running.
It's a great selection of plays, believe me.
Now USC is calling a timeout after the 13-yard gain by Tupu. There is a timeout on the field with the score Notre Dame 17, Southern California 14. With a first and goal at the Notre Dame 3. Trojans out of the huddle. Eyes set in the backfield. Evans is the quarterback. Gets the snap. Hands off. Motion to Tupu. Down to the 1. Almost in. Started to go wide, and Vince Evans signals over to John McKay that they're about 2 feet short of the goal line. Tupu has now run with the ball 8 times, has gained 64 yards, 8 yards a pop. And Ricky Bell is nearing the all-time rushing total number of carries against Notre Dame, team record. O.J. Simpson one year rushed 38 times. Ricky Bell, with a lot of time left, 8:58 to play, has carried 35 times for 151 yards. USC out of the huddle, second and goal from inside the Notre Dame 1. Handoff to Ricky Bell, a fumble! USC recovers at the 2. It'll be third and goal. Melvin Jackson recovered the fumble. Ricky Bell tried to hurdle over the top, and somebody really wrapped him. Might have been Golick or Niehaus, but the ball flew way up in the air, and USC's Melvin Jackson recovered. So the Trojans now have it third and goal from the 2.
That was a Southern California man bouncing on top of the ball, but Dubinetsky scooped it out from under him, and Dubinetsky was upset because the official would not give it to Notre Dame.
Now the Notre Dame student body on its feet down below us to our left, up and cheering, and Vince Evans says he can't call signals, and again he has given another huddle. 8:05 to play, and the clock is stopped on the official timeout. 7:35 left to go in the game. Third and goal for USC from the Notre Dame 2-yard line. Handoff, Ricky Bell dives up, No, he goes to Tupu. The fake was to Ricky Bell, and then a handoff to Evans himself kept it. A double fake, and Vince Evans takes it in for the touchdown. Nicely done by Southern California. And the Trojans take the lead.
Beautiful fake by Vince Evans. He had me faked out, Don, completely. I thought he'd handed the ball off to Tupu. Instead, he kept the ball, rolled around the side, and as I said earlier, this was the kind of play the quarterback likes to keep it. He kept it and went for the score.
So now Glenn Walker will try the point after. Dennis Thurman will hold. Here's the snap. It's good. Set down is good. The kick is drilled high and good up into the stands, and USC now has a 21-17 lead. So Notre Dame needs a touchdown to take back the lead. There's 7:28 left to play, and with the score, USC 21 and Notre Dame 17. There's a timeout on the field, and this for Buick. USC's kickoff is taken by Hunter at the 8, and he runs it straight up the middle and out to the 30. Al Hunter brings the ball back out to the 30-yard line. It's 1st and 10 there for Notre Dame. The Fighting Irish with 7:24 on the clock. Come out of the huddle now, trailing again 21-17. Montana, the quarterback. Jim Browner is in the game. He's been out since early in the season when he was hurt. Here is a handoff to Hunter. Tries to go wide to the right. He's going to be knocked down for a loss. Dave Lewis, an outside linebacker, and inside linebacker Dale Logie were on the stop for the Trojans. That'll make it 2nd down and 12, back of the 29.
Don, both the inside linebackers were coming, Dale Logie and Kevin Bruce. Both were blitzing on the play.
Now Joe Montana signals for and is allotted a timeout.
Montana coming to the sidelines over there, and he's talking to Coach Dan Devine. He's saying, how do we attack this football team now? We're having problems. We're probing here. They're blitzing. If they're going to blitz, then maybe the little dump passes.
But now Montana with 2nd and 12 is dropping to throw. He looks. He triggers it out in the flat. The ball is intercepted by Southern California. It is picked off by Danny Reese at the Notre Dame 34-yard line. So again, the Trojans pick off Joe Montana. And now they have the ball at the 34-yard line with 6:46 to play.
There's the best defensive back Southern California has. He had 14 interceptions his first 2 years of college football. 14 interceptions, Danny Reese. That's the 8th turnover in the game, incidentally, Don. 4 for each ball club.
But the game is a long way from over. 6:46 to go, and USC has had problems with turnovers also in this game. Now Vince Evans brings the Trojans out of the huddle. 1st and 10. Handoff to Ricky Bell, weaving up the middle. Bell gets inside the 30 and is finally knocked down at the Notre Dame 27. Very close to a 1st down. Tom Eastman hit him. Notre Dame all season long turning the ball over. They've done it 4 times today, and it's been costly.
What a fantastic football player this Ricky. You have to see him to believe it. To believe that he could put the stutter step down so perfectly. He comes right at you, touches your helmet almost, gives you the fake to the left, to the right, and then bursts. With a burst of speed, he's gone.
2nd down and 2 for USC. 26-yard line of Notre Dame. Handoff to Tupu. Breaks open inside the 20. Powers his way down to the 17-yard line for a 1st down. He was finally thrown back by Jeff Weston and Pete Johnson. USC now with 19 1st downs in the game. So Notre Dame, Al, has to get the ball back if they can. USC just grinding it out after the interception now. Running that clock and also moving closer to perhaps another score. Wide right, Shelton Diggs. It is 1st and 10 for USC, 18-yard line of Notre Dame. Vince Evans hands off to Bell, and he is knocked down by Weston for little or no gain. He tried to go up the middle. USC's offensive lineman trying to trap block Niehaus. He fought off, and Weston came across and made the hit after the double team on Niehaus. It is 2nd down and 10 now for USC. 18-yard line of Notre Dame. Handoff to Tupu. He is upended on a great play by Steve Niehaus. Again, he was double teamed. Niehaus reached up, caught Tupu with a forearm on the shins and sent him end over end.
They had doubled on him again. Niehaus had a double block on him there and still reached up with one hand and flipped the runner. Oh, this feller can play it.
Time very much a factor now. 4 minutes and 30 seconds and the clock running. USC with third down and 10 at the Notre Dame 18-yard line. Let's see what Evans elects to do. The quarterback, eyes set in the backfield. He fakes to Bell. He's dropping to throw. He looks. The rush against him. Puts it up in the end zone. It is off the fingertips of Shelton Diggs. Even had he caught the ball, he would have been out of bounds. He was over the end line of the end zone. And so now it is fourth down for USC.
Diggs had both the safety and the cornerback, Lipinski and Simon beaten, and the pass just was a little bit out of reach. He couldn't quite put his fingers on it. This Shelton Diggs can run with most of them, and he's got the great faking movement as he comes towards the defending back and a breakaway.
He was open, no question about it. This will be a field goal attempt from 35 yards. Snap is down. Kick is up. It is high. It is, let's see, it is good. The official rules it is over the right upright. So USC takes a 24-17 lead. And now we have a very distinct drama set and a very great dilemma for Notre Dame. 4:11 to play. Notre Dame would have to score and then go for a two-point conversion to win. Now there's a timeout with the score. USC 24, Notre Dame 17. Don Criqui with Al Wester back at Notre Dame. The Fighting Irish are now down 24-17. Here is the kickoff. It is taken by Hunter at the 2. Wedge of blockers forms. Hunter crosses the 20, weaves into open field, turns the corner. One man has a shot, and he gets him at the 45. Ken Randall got a hand on Al Hunter, knocked him down. But Notre Dame, with 4 minutes and 3 seconds to play in the game, will go on offense first and 10 at the Fighting Irish 45-yard line.
What a run. It looked as though Hunter was going to repeat that great run in the Sugar Bowl of 1973.
Now Montana, who's had trouble getting his passing game going, brings the team out. He sends a wide receiver to the right, and Chris Haynes. Montana dropping to throw. Big rush. Now he gets time, lofts a long one downfield. Urich is going for it. It's thrown out of bounds. They're double-teaming Gary Jeter, and they're really holding him out. Montana that has had to step into the pocket to elude one rusher for USC. Threw the ball about 50 yards in the air all the way down to the 15-yard line. We now pause for our stations to identify themselves. This is Mutual, your network for news and sports.
This is 93Q, WQOD FM, Youngstown.
Notre Dame out of the huddle, second and 10 at their 45-yard line. Montana goes to Jim Browner, and Jim Browner gets ahead for only 2 yards. So now Notre Dame will have a third down and 8 from their 47. And apparently they're going to need the big pass from Joe Montana to keep the drive alive.
Rames and Kevin Bruce, Tim Rames and Kevin Bruce, the two linebackers, right in there on top of the runner, cutting him down before he could ever get up ahead of steam.
It is third down, a long 7 for Notre Dame. Montana drops to throw. He looks. He puts it up. Too high. Incomplete. It'll be fourth down. Montana way off target. Throwing to running back Jim Brown. It was high and into the USC bench. Out in the left flank, out in the midfield stripe. So now Notre Dame sends out its punting unit with 3:17 to go. Has completed only 3. 22 yards. He has been intercepted twice. Resnick takes the snap. Hits a line drive punt. Danny Reese fields it at the 20, and he is immediately knocked down at the 23. So with 3:10 left to go in the game, the Trojans of Southern California have the ball back, leading 24-17.
One first down, and Southern California will have it wrapped up, and they will have tucked this one away by a touchdown. And believe me, John McKay and his coaching staff wanted this football game going into it very badly.
It is first and 10 for the Trojans. They'll be running the clock now with a 7-point lead. And 3 minutes to go. They hand off. Ricky Bell is caught. Knocked down for no gain. But the clock continues to run. 3 minutes to go, and the clock running. USC unpiling very slowly as Ricky Bell was knocked down for no gain. It'll be second and 10 from the Southern California 23.
Well, 2 minutes and 51 seconds. Nope, the clock's still running. 2:45 now. It continues to run. Southern Cal would like to run out as much of it as possible.
Vince Evans, the quarterback. Second down and 10. Here's the snap. Here's the fake. Evans is going to run it himself. He gets out across the 25, out close to the 28-yard line. A pickup of about 4 yards. It'll be now third down and 6 for USC. But again, the clock continues to run. 2:15 to go. And the clock is stopped. The Notre Dame player is down, shaken up. It looks like Doug Becker. And here come the Trojans out of the huddle. A big play for both teams. USC needs the gain of 6 to keep the drive alive and run the clock. Notre Dame has to get the ball. The snap. The handoff. No, it's Evans going to run it himself. Turns the corner. He has the first down. He's out across the 40. Rolling out wide to the right. He gets out across the 40 to the 44. John Dubinevsky knocks him down with 1:52 to play.
All right, timeouts left now. Let's take a look. Notre Dame has 2 timeouts left. That 15-yard gain by Vince Evans. And as I pointed out to you before, Don, he likes to run with the football. He's a pretty good option quarterback because he has big hands to control the football, but he likes to run with it. And he just ran for the biggest gain that he's made this afternoon, 15 yards and first down.
First down for USC. The clock is winding down. It is working against Notre Dame now. 1:30 to go, and USC is going to be called for delay of game. Minute and a half to go. Evans comes out of the huddle. Again, the eye set in the backfield for USC. The Trojans are moving right to left. Here is the fake. The handoff goes to Tupupu. He gets out to the 46-yard line. Mosey to Tupu, the big guy from Honolulu, hits out to the 46-yard line. And that will bring up second down at about 7.
That's great offensive blocking up in that line. Joe Davis, Melvin, Mike Cordell, the center. Fine blocking up there. All right, we've got a timeout and coming across the field. Coming across the field for Notre Dame, one of the players.
At the Trojan 46, USC leads by 7. Handoff goes to Ricky Bell. Stutter stepping. He weaves up the middle, gets another first down. And that will just about put Notre Dame away. Ricky Bell weaving up the middle, gets down to the Notre Dame 47-yard line, where they're spouting the ball. Apparently it's close enough to measure. So with 1:03 left, the sticks will come out. Al?
Next Saturday afternoon over many of these mutual stations, Notre Dame and Navy. And Navy shut out Pittsburgh this afternoon. Shut them out 17-0. Great offensive team up at the University of Pittsburgh. The Panthers were shut out 17-0 by Navy this afternoon. It'll be Navy and Notre Dame next Saturday afternoon over many of these mutual stations. And Monday night, remember, as they measure now for the first down out there, remember that Monday night over many of these stations, we'll have Monday night NFL football, the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings.
So it is short of the first down by inches, as Ricky Bell has now gained 166 yards and 41 carries, a new record for carries in a single game against Notre Dame. USC with 3rd and inches. Evans takes it himself, dives inside the 45 to the 43. Jeff Weston knocks him down. And it's a first down for Southern California at the Notre Dame 43. And looks like the Fighting Irish are going to take their final timeout of the day.
They're going to have to do something to stop the clock now. Nope, the clock is still running. They're going to wait it out. 37 seconds, 35 seconds.
I don't know if they have any more timeouts. You recall Montana took one early in the 3rd quarter when there was a misalignment. Across the way, the Southern California Trojans, their arms waved in the air, waving number 1. The 250-member Southern California marching band on its feet. And now, going to have another delay of game with 15 seconds left to play. Southern California will be penalized another 5 yards, but they could care less. They're looking at the clock now, and it's just about out.
24-17 by a touchdown. This may be the final play.
Southern California rallying from behind twice to take the lead. They now hold 24-17. Evans takes the ball, runs himself, is knocked down at the 45-yard line of Notre Dame. And the clock is going to tick off a final 8 seconds. Now we have it stopped with 5 seconds to play. Notre Dame did have a timeout left, and so they just now call for it. Final play of the game. Evans takes the snap, falls on the ball, and the clock runs out. And USC jubilantly comes jumping out onto the field. A victor over Notre Dame by the final score of 24-17. We'll present the wrap-up of today's game after this for Lazy Boy Chairs.
All right, Jim Backus, while you sit back in your lazy boy now, I'm going to go over to Don Criqui for a final thought on this football game. Don, Southern California 24, Notre Dame 17.
Well, I think in conclusion now you can say it was everything expected from the Notre Dame USC game. Tremendous hitting and tremendous tenacity displayed, particularly by the Trojans, who had to come from behind twice in this game. Notre Dame fell behind, rallied, and then tied the game. You'll recall that two-point conversion. But today was not sophomore Joe Montana's day, but he'll have many more, as he was unable to get tracked on his passing game.